Hello, everybody. It's Kate Richburg. Is everybody here? Everyone's here. It's just not showing up on my counter. So, there we go. Counter just went up. Good. Everyone's here. I have lipstick on, but I'm going to put another layer, right? Because why not? Hey. Oh my goodness. We made it to Friday. If you're going to notice when I work today, I've got paint like all over me. Here it is. It's right there. That's the color of my new studio. Same color, same old color, new studio space. After this broadcast, I have to run because the movers are coming. Today is the day. Yesterday, Chris and I painted. I know you're going to be so happy to finish hearing about this studio move. Believe me, I will too. We painted yesterday. This color, my studio gray. There it is. It's right there. It's on my socials. You can see it. And today is move-in day. So, that's good. So I'm really happy about that. I'm making steady progress on all of your orders from beadshopSTUDIO as well. Between all of this other stuff, again, I really appreciate you folks being so patient with me. I promise that they will be worth the wait. Jessica, I just mailed yours yesterday. I see you jumping in. So they're in. So there's going to be another batch that goes out today. Thanks, my bandana. This Emily gave me this one, I think, right? It is so hot here that I have to, have some semblance of style. So bandanas work for me for that. Let me show you. I'm going to take this one off. This is a bead crochet piece. Let me add my camera to the stage. Oh yeah, you totally can wear a bandana and glasses and earrings and all of it, right? Red lipstick, Terry, just keep slapping it on, my friend. That's what I do. And there's my mama. Hello, dear mama. Let's take a look though at this real quick. Let me switch places. I was going to see if I had my other bead crochet. I do. I have it here. It's good. When I was looking for it. There it is. It's right here. These are the two that I made a bazillion years ago. And you're going to see why I don't teach you crochet, because I don't crochet like anyone else. I throw my yarn rather than crocheting it like Emily does. I'm going to show you the differences. You'll be able, if you can crochet, you'll be able to do this. So I'm not super worried about you seeing my weird crochet technique. So I'm not going to worry about it, but you'll see it. So these are the two crochet bangles I did way back in the day when I taught bead crochet at my shop. Back in the day at Beadissimo. Janice just put the crochet project that Emily did. She did the one, as you know, with the Stinson Beach mix. Janice is making a couple of new mixes for that. And my friends, I think we're going to do a similar type of mix in a 10-aught. Right? Barbara, I also do peyote with a twist. I have been threatening you folks for like 5 years to do it. And I have a piece. It's just sitting right over there. It's like halfway done. But I really want to show you peyote with a twist because it's so fun and easy to do. I have a great project for it. It's just been sitting here, sitting, made like 2 studio moves. That's how long it's been sitting. But anyway, but that's coming because peyote with his twist looks it's similar, different, but similar. Oh, and great. JP ordered it. I think you folks are going to love it. right? I think you're going to love it. So these are the two that I made a while back. And Emily really sparked. You can see there's my join. My join isn't the best, but I don't really worry about it. I did this one in stripes. So you can see I've strung, I've got 30 inches here. I need 20 more inches to string. Let me get this over here for you. So the way that I did these a while back is I strung them like this. So they would be stripes and spiral stripes like this. Let me put this here. Emily makes it all look so effortless. I'm kind of a mess when it comes to bead crochet, but I'm all right with that too. So here is, I used 8/0. I used a clear, I'll tell you exactly what I used. They're right here. It's the matte transparent ruby. That's what that is. I used the 4513, the Picasso opaque red, which is right there. And then I threw in, and you can see I used it in this one as well. I love crocheting with the 8/0, the metal seed bead. So this is the copper. This one here, can you see, even back then, I loved the shadow bead. So that's a black shadow right there, the little shadow. That's an 8/0. This is a 3/0, I believe, a 3/0 fire polish, and then the 8/0 metal, and then another 8/0 there. So that's what I used for this. This one was all 6/0, and again, you can see where, I think you can kind of see, maybe the join on this one's a little bit better. This one I made a little bit smaller, or it came out a little bit smaller because it's 6/0. But this is all 6/0, 6 beads around, and strung like this. That's how these were done. So I wanted to share these with you from way back in the day. And you can see, since the 6/0 are a little bit of a larger bead, the inside diameter it is a little smaller, but it still goes on. See, and they roll like this, right? So that one goes on there like that. And then this one goes on here like that. I just love these bead crochet bangles. I think they're just super. Okay, so let's get down to it. Let me show you what I've got here. Let's take a look. Let me highlight my camera. There we go. Here is this. So I have to have a caveat, and just like the Windsors, never complain, never explain. But I'm going to complain a little, and I'm going to explain a little. So I'm not really complaining, actually. I'm just explaining. So here's the piece that we're going to be working with today. And I knew that I could do this way back in the day. My mom, Ma, you remember you made me that really cool bead crochet necklace, and I love it, and I can't find it. I've spent like the whole week looking for it, right? And so I couldn't find it. And so finally I said, well, forget it. I'm just I'll crochet up this other sample like this, and this is what we're gonna use. So when I crocheted this bracelet, I was really tired, having just painted. And it was late. And so the crochet technique on the back, there's like this weird spot, like right here. Oh, that is coming apart, right? See, I must have dropped a stitch or something. I'm like, what's going on there? So that's okay. I'm just going to pull it here. And I'll pretend you don't see that. Pretend that. Okay. Let me just pull this out. And let me just knot it. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. And so, yeah, so that's the story there. So when I was doing this, obviously I was super tired. It was kind of also in not great lighting. So when I looked at it this morning, I was like, "Ay, that's kind of a mess." So the one that I do for you today, though the other side, you're never going to notice. So even if yours is kind of a mess when you're crocheting, don't worry, you're never going to notice it. And you probably wouldn't have noticed it had I not told you in full disclosure. I'm just tying a knot here. There we go. And I'll put some glue on that and then we'll, right? Thank you, Margaret. See what, right? So the way that this is done is, and the way this is going to fit, I thought it would be really cool. I love these buttons so much, these bags of vintage buttons. There's a little over 50 grams. These are the grab bags that I made for you. And this is everything I used. You use about 1 grab bag per bracelet. Okay, this is what I have left over. And I just love the way that these sit. I love these freaking buttons so much. So I wanted to wear them on my wrist. So you can see it comes together, and I've just crocheted a loop and it loops in like that. Okay. Now this is actually a little too small when I made it, because again, tired when I made the sample, but I'm going to show you. See, it almost fits. See that right there? It almost fits, but I have extra buttons and extra thread. So I'm going to show you how to elongate that. Okay. No, it's really no big deal. And even if you can't crochet, sorry, you can teach yourself to crochet. I'm going to show you a little bit, but my crochet, the way that Emily does it, is a little messy, but you'll see how I do it. Let me fix this camera, get some water, and let's get down to it. Did I say happy Friday to everyone? Happy Friday, everyone. I am so glad it's the weekend. We're making it through. You know, nothing can get us down, right, my friends? Here's one of the bags of mixed buttons. You can see sometimes you'll get one that's maybe like a blue or a color. This one is a gray. That's cool. We literally just scooped these up in a little over 50 gram bags. Some of them, like this one, see, this one's missing a shank. So just use this. Look at the top of that button. Use it like a cabochon. Glue it on something, whatever. So if they don't have a shank, not many of them do. We tried to pick them out, but this one obviously snuck through. Here's a brown one. Look at that brown right there. Okay, so they might, so far, you might get a few different colors. Okay. Yeah, you could totally macrame with these. Let me show you crochet real quick, and then let me set it up for macrame, because it'll actually be really easy as well. Okay, so let me just jump in and show you. I'm going to do this on the white, with the white ones. And I kind of make them so that I've got a smaller one on this end, like this, and, you know, kind of taper it down so there's a smaller one kind of on that end. And then it doesn't really matter. You can also use them. See these that have the holes like this? They don't have to have the shank. Okay. So let me just string them up. So here's this. Here's that. Look at that one. I'm going to put that one a little further down. Let's see. String them all. I'm using a purple. I think this is regular Ceylon. To be honest, Elaine is saying she hasn't crocheted since she was 7. You know, that's about when I learned. My mom's a good crocheter. She's a good knitter. We did a lot of needle arts when I was little, for sure. My gran taught me how to crochet. Pardon me, sorry. I obviously have been busy this morning, but I have not warmed up my voice. There we go. I'm just going to keep drinking water. Keep hydrating, everybody. Keep going either through the shank or through one hole in the button. And like this. And then I kind of like that one for the end, I think. I don't know. It doesn't, and you'll see, it really makes no difference. Ooh, look at that one. These are all pretty nice. Yeah, it's getting pretty hot here in Fresno, so we try and get up pretty early to beat the heat and do all that. Though today, thankfully, I think it's only going to reach 100. So I'm hoping that the studio move and everything will go pretty smoothly, not be so ridiculously hot. But we'll see what happens, right? So there's that. Yeah, we did a lot of embroidery. You know, we did bedazzling for sure. We did a lot. We were a crafty family. Still are, for sure. For sure, crafty family. Let's put that one in. Almost there. This button. This one. This, and then that small one. Okay, this is the whole bag. So, and then I can always check and see if it's going to fit. Okay, so like this. Oh, whoops, there's one more. Let me put this down there. Like this. There we go. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to slide all these buttons down. And I've got the end of my threads here, and I'm just going to make a slip knot, right? Which means making that loop, grabbing through that loop, grabbing that thread through, and tightening it up. Now the crochet hook that I'm using one that's a little bit bigger. I think Emily used the size 8. I'm using the size 4 right here. Can you see that? The tulip needles that we carry here at Bead Shop. I finally had to order some because I know that my crochet hooks are put away somewhere very carefully, but where they are, I cannot tell you, right? So the way that Emily does this, and I'll show you how she does it. I am not great at crocheting in this way, but essentially you tension the thread in your left hand, right? You hold, let me get this a little tighter here. Your left hand makes the tension. There we go. And you hold the knot like so. And you hook the thread. Takes me a second to get this started here. You hook the thread, turn it, and make your loop. Okay, so this is how Emily does it with, and you can see I am super clumsy with this to make a chain stitch like this, right? The way that I learned to crochet, and you got to watch your tension. The way that I learned to crochet, and Ma, I don't know if you do it this way. Gran did it this way, so I guess that's why I do it. I don't know if this was some like weird old like Italian way that her grandmother taught her how to do it or whatever, but I actually tension like a knitter with my right hand and hold it this way. Okay. And then what I do is I will bring my button in, I will yarn over like this and pull my hook through. Can you see that? So that's how I do it. There's a few, I've met like one other person in my life who crochets like this. And that is just how I do it. So I hold everything in my right hand instead of tensioning with my left. So see, what I'm doing essentially is I'm making a chain stitch, right? Like this. Oh, good. Okay, so I'm not the only one who crochets this way. Okay, that makes me feel better. See, I'm just doing a chain. Let me focus on this. Yeah, and the tulip hooks are there. So yeah, we carry both of those. They're under tools somewhere. Let me get a little tighter in here so you can see this. Okay, so then all you do is you push your bead forward and you crochet it in. And you're just chain stitching. And what I do is I make the length of my chain, like see how I want the buttons to kind of overlap. And see how Emily, thank you. Emily says, and it's true, if you use the taper of the hook. And I was noticing that, let me see if I can move back and forth with this kind. So here, I'm going to go here. I'm going to taper. I'm going to bring this button up. I'm going to taper. I hold it here. See, I've got my loop on the taper right there, and I pull it through. Yeah, I mean, that certainly, that did work there for a second. This way, hook away and hook towards. Open it up, loosen up Richburg. There we go. Okay, so I'll bring up another few buttons this way. Let me see if I can taper this. Put that here. Okay, hold it like this with these beads, with the buttons. Let me put the buttons behind my finger over here. And catch it, tension it in, and there we go. Okay, so, sorry, I was not in the thing. I'll do that a little slower, sure. I was afraid I was going to screw it up. Let me show you this way. Let me scooch out a little bit, and then I'll show you my other way. Yeah, use the taper. That is, I think, the trick. Yeah. It's awkward for me because I'm not used to it. I bet, Emily, you could crochet these buttons in no time. So see, I bring this button down, I hook my thread, and I chain it. That's a little close though. I actually need to make some plain chains before I do that. So let me just chain, go back there button, chain 1, this is kind of loose, 2, chain, and 3. Okay, there we go. Now this one comes up. I just kind of wrap the thread around it like that, like so, and pull it through. There we go. And I'm gonna do like a couple more chains. I'm getting the hang of this. I'm getting the hang of it with this hand, right? There we go. And I think it's faster because I'm not throwing the thread, right? I think this is regular Ceylon. It is a little curly, so I could, press it or whatever, but this will make it a little bit easier for me. Slide it up. I'm going to switch back because I just want to show you the effect. However you get to the buttons, chaining the buttons, crocheting the buttons on there. Let me do 1 and 2, a few more here. Slide this big one. Look at that big one. Isn't that pretty? So the taper is, see how good question, Sharon. See how the crochet hook goes from small to large right here? And if you're just working in this top portion of the crochet hook, your loop doesn't get large, right? So it's easier to pull it through. So if I use the taper like that, push the taper kind of up, and then I just do my loop and pull it through, it just makes it a little bit easier to chain. Okay, so I'm going to chain a couple there. So can you see how these are all just kind of crocheted on there? Oh, Margaret, that's really kind, right? Just, just do it, challenging, just go for it, right? Oh, here's a good tip from Carrie Keaton. TL Yarn Crafts, is that on YouTube? Great one for crocheting. I did the same thing. I learned how to make these Christmas bell Christmas ornaments. So I definitely used some crusty old green old green I'm sure acrylic yarn. My mom probably still has those crocheted bells. I think we made a whole bunch of them that year. So see here now with the button that has the shank, see how the shank kind of comes up and it kind of, brings these two buttons closer together. Does that make sense? So I'm going to do this. Yeah, I've always just thrown my yarn this way. That's just how I've done it. Okay, so I've gone past like that button a little bit and I'm sliding this one on. This hole in this button is a little smaller, so it doesn't want to slide. Get in there. And see, when it's a button like that, just kind of pull the button down so you've got a little, kind of like a little leg there. Then I come in and I just tighten it by just yarning over. But see, there's a nice big loop there now. So that's there. Okay, and I'll do like 2 chains of those. However you chain, that's how you do this. I mean, it could not be easier. Let me get this one on. Then we'll check for length, and I'll show you what I did before too, to make it a little stiffer. Slide this one up. Since these buttons are so big, you kind of have to keep readjusting and sliding and stuff, but that's all right. Slide this one down. Oh, these white buttons are just, they're all glass. They're that vintage Czech glass. I also have some that aren't grab bags. They're just individual buttons. They're so good. I really love them. Yeah, this is how my grand taught me how. So I don't know if, she learned from her Sicilian grandmother. So I don't know, maybe this is the way the Italians used to do it. I'm not sure. But see, here we go. See how these are just kind of coming across like that. You could keep going. This would make a great necklace as well. The bags, you'll never see this deal again. These beads, they were just a screaming deal. My vendor, he sent me a photo of his table and he said, I've got all these random bags. Do you want them? And I said, yeah, I do. So he sent them to me. They were an amazing price. So your buttons, they come to about 50 cents a button in your grab bag. I really wanted to pass that deal along to you. So I hope when you get them, I hope that you like them. Some might be a little shop worn because they are old, but we tried to pick out when we were making the bags anything that was too, not usable. So there we go, a couple of those. Yeah, Czech glass buttons. I'm glad Terry said, oh, my mom said she totally forgot. Remember, Ma, you made that out of some of my favorite buttons. I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep looking for it because I really, really want you to find it. Or I want to find it so we can see it. Yeah, I've got a whole Czech button situation going on as well. So, and you'll see me do just the chain again at the end. But again, this is more for the idea than for me to teach you how to crochet, because again, I'm so wonky at it. See, here's a big button. So there's my chains right there. This, I'm crocheting pretty loosely because the weight of the buttons is kind of pulling my stitches out, but I can make it a little bit tighter. See that there? Those are a little tighter there. Those are a little messier. Whatever. I'm going to kind of crochet till the end of the button. There we go. Because then when I put one through, it'll kind of overlap. Do this, bring that up, chain it through. Okay, whoops. Drop my needle, dropped a few stitches, just fix it, it's all right. You want to end this though with a button that has a shank on it. Whoops, why can't, oh, it's because this thread is split. Let me go back a couple of stitches. There we go. Okay. Let me do one like this, and then, and you could use any thread. I'm using, as I said, regular Ceylon. It's a little stiff, but I kind of like that it's stiff. You could use the Hemtique. You could use any thread you want. To be honest, I'm using Ceylon because that's what we sell, and that's what I have a lot of here. You could use anything, any, like, you know, kind of lace weight kind of crochet thread, or hemp, or CKC, whatever, right? So here's that length. All right, let me slide this out. Okay, and I'm going to check the length. Great. Okay, and you can see how it's a little bit bigger, but that's okay, because let me show you. I've done just one chain like this. And if you just want to do a single chain like so and call it a day, more power to you. We'll be done. Okay, we're just going to chain a loop and call it a day. What I did, because I got ambitious, was I single crocheted back this way. I made the loop, then I single crocheted back just to make it a little more sturdy. Can you see how this is? It's like a single crochet there. So let me show you. You can just finish. And the way you would finish is you would measure it. You would make a loop that goes around your first button. So let me make a loop. Whoops. And, oh, this is a little splitty. Just slow down a second, Richburg. There we go. Just like that. There we go. And just chain enough to make a loop. So this is, is this going to fit? Not quite. I need it to be just a little bit bigger. Okay. Yeah, you could use cotton crochet thread, but I agree. I think that the Ceylon is good because it won't stretch. I think that the cotton crochet hook or the pearl cotton or something like that, I think the weight of the buttons might make it stretch. So where I want this loop to be, and look, I've got a funny stitch right there, but I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm going to come in, I'm going to put my needle through a stitch, and I'm going to check this loop. See that? And yeah, that fits. Okay. So now I'm going to close that loop. Now we do a whole bunch of single crochet. And this is kind of like what Emily was doing on the bangle. I still have a few buttons on here, which I might use. I'm not sure. I'm just going to leave them on there. But you can see I put my needle, my crochet hook through. Let me see if I can just focus this a bit. Okay. So now I'm going to come through and I'm going to do a single crochet. I've got 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull the hook through both of them. Easier said than done. Hang on. Let's open up that loop there. Come on. Remember how Emily was saying that her hands would cramp from too much crochet? That's what's happening to me right about now. So just bear with me here. There it goes. Okay. So there's my loop, and my loop's connected. All right. So now in all of these little loops on the back, and I'm not going to worry that I'm catching every loop. I just want to make this a little sturdier rather than just the single crochet chain. But that would also work. Like you could just pull this through and you could be done. But what I've done is I went back and just like I was doing a row of single crochet, I would just, sorry about that. I would just single crochet back along the back row of buttons, or the back row, right? So there's that. I just find a thread to pull it through. It doesn't even really matter. There's the loop that the button is on. I'll single crochet that, pull that through the 2 loops, open that up, use your needle, or hook rather. It's a crochet hook. Not the Gran called them crochet needles. I don't know why she did, just like knitting needles. Oh, that one didn't catch. But you're picking up what I'm putting down, right? Let me get another couple. Let me get past this button. Come on. Ease up on your tension, Richburg. There we go. And then let me go to this one. And the thing about this is, I want to warn you, when I was crocheting the black one fit at first. But when I went back through, I need to clear that. So I'm going to clear it there. Oh, sorry. I'm off screen. Did someone just text me and tell me I was off screen? No. Okay. Let me scoot back a little bit more. There we go. So the single crochet, the line of single crochet, tightens everything up a bit. But I'm going to add just a couple of chain stitches here to kind of bypass that. And I mean, this really is freeform crochet. I love freeform crochet. I should show you. There's this woman called Prudence Mapstone, Prudence something stone. She's Australian. And she does this freeform crochet that's amazing. And I did a purse with it. I went to stay with my friend Sue way back in the day, and we stayed up all night and we made freeform crochet. And it kind of has like this under the sea kind of feeling to it. And I made this bag that was pretty cool. Prudence Mapstone, I think that's her name. Someone look it up. It's just really cool. So see how I'm just doing that single crochet? See how I went through, I grabbed both of those, put that through, And now catch both of those. There we go. I'm on a little more of a roll there. Now, can you see how that opening for this bead is kind of big? I'm just going to chain a couple. Pardon me. And now put that through. That one there and that one there. And this one needs a little, maybe just a couple of chains, so I'm going to chain it. That looks like it's about the right length. So I'm going to put it through like right there and single crochet. This is, whoops, but don't pull it out like I did. Once, twice, and through. There we go. So let's take a look and see what I've got here. Let me get this. I'm just going to cheat and do it with my finger. Okay, let's see what I've got here. Prudence Mapstone. Thank you, JP. Her stuff was so cool. So see how as I'm going back through, I'll get my hands out of the way. Okay, and let me focus this real quick. So don't worry about not having like the world's most perfect crochet here. Okay, this second pass of the crochet to make all of these into single crochets are going to make this a little bit stiffer. Okay, can you see that, how this one is? Okay, so this is Ceylon, Kathy, and you're actually watching this live, not replay. So good job. And it's spelled Ceylon. Janice has it there. Okay. So what you do is you just single crochet all the way back through. Okay, like that. So now what would happen, let me get this one out of the way. I just pulled this loop. And when you're done, right, all you do is you cut the thread and pull this through. Okay, that's it. And that's what closes it off. So I'm going to put this one to the side, but look at how all of these white buttons look so great on the wrist, and they tighten up a little bit. And what you can always do as you're crocheting, if you feel like, oh, you know what, I wish I had another one like right there, like this looks pretty good, but maybe this might be a little sparse. You can just slide that extra one on down like this and just crochet it in. Okay, I need one of Emily's little stitch markers. I need a stitch marker here so that it doesn't fall through. Do I have like I probably have a jump ring or something here. Hang on. Let me just put a jump ring. Or do I have like a little lobster claw clasp sitting here anywhere? I don't, but let me just make a stitch marker out of this jump ring real quick. Or a stitch holder, you know what I mean. There we go. Now it won't fall through. Okay, I just used two kind of nutty pliers that really, but see, here we go. That's another way. You could also, look at that. You could crochet jump rings in there and add dangles, right? Coming back the other way, crochet jump rings in. Yeah. Yes, that would really work too. We're just making things up on the fly. But see, if it feels sparse, just slide another button up and just crochet it in and just keep going. All right. So now with this one, I was crocheting kind of tightly, and you can see here's my ending button right here, but it got a little short. So what I did here was I have some tails left here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crochet with this end. I could add jump rings after, sure, JP. It might be easy though when you are doing them to slide them in so they're right into the stitch. I don't know. This is the epitome of freeform. So you do you, right? For sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to string on, this almost fits. So I feel like I need 2 more buttons, and my ending button, my loop is kind of small. So I need to make sure that I have a good ending button. That'll work. Let me throw on this one right here. Some of these buttons, the shanks are kind of small. The ones that have these metal shanks on them are a lot older with these metal shanks. They're a little older than the ones with the glass shanks. Let me see if I can get this through. There it is. And I'm going to put one more on. That's a nice one. And then I'll put this closing one on. So I'm just going to crochet these in. Right, because I've got the thread. I might as well. I'm going to keep that short. That's my beginning thread. So I'm just going to make a loop, a slip knot loop right there, and just kind of walk it down so it's tight up against my, let me get it a little closer. You know what I am going to do? This is a little funny, so I'm going to tie this closed here. There we go. That looks good. Now I'm going to make my loop and put my slip knot through right at the end. There we go. Okay. So I just have to crochet these 3 buttons on the end. I'll slide, let me crochet a little bit of a chain here. 1, maybe just 1. Slide this one down and chain 1, 2, slide another one down. Whoops, sorry. And this right here, 1, 2, 3, maybe. And then here's the last one. I'm just going to, I think this will be enough length. I'm going to try it before I finish it off. Okay, like that. Okay, let me make sure I don't want this loop to come undone. So I'm going to pull it out kind of tight like that. I'm going to put this around my wrist. Yeah, perfect. Okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet back like I was doing before. It's going to tighten it up just a hair, and then it'll be done. So single crochet, there's my last button. So I'm going to go in to that crochet and just single crochet back for just a little bit. Now you can keep going back and forth, I bet. I mean, you know, adding more things. I don't know, experiment. It's not that big of an investment in time, really. And the buttons are easily freed from this crochet. Get this one here. And I think the tighter you do this, the less like floppy around this finished piece is going to be, if that makes sense. Let me do a couple there. And I'm just crocheting back to where I started. Can you see that? It's here, like right there. So let me just bring this back and single crochet into that one. Whoop. That's the only thing with the bigger crochet hook. It's a little bit easier, but it's nice to use these small ones. But I need just a little bit of practice sometimes with these smaller ones. There we go. This is where I'm joining it. See, there's that tail. Okay, like that. And like this. Slide this one off. Okay, now I'm just going to end it. So I'm going to cut, oh, this already has been cut off the spool. So I'm just going to slide this through like that. Oops, you can see I did split the thread there. So I'm going to cut it shorter. It's not a big split, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. There we go. So I'm going to get all the plies, right? And I'm going to tie that knot right here. I do have some of the colored buttons. I've got a grab bag of the blue ones. I'll show you what I have left. I'll go grab them. They're on beadshopSTUDIO. I would add maybe just a touch of glue right there, and then I'm going to cut these off. I do have grab bags of glue, and then I have some other colors that are just the singles. Let me cut this off too, right here. All right, let's go ahead and add it to my stack. Let me take my arm off camera for just a second because I'm having trouble putting the loop. I need to get it into my focal range. So see how that loop just comes around that button just like that? Come on. Come on. There's, let me at least get my hand in there so you're looking at something. There we go. I mean, come on. Let me take my watch off. Look at the button bangle. How great it looks. I'll tell you. Let me scoot back a little bit. Let me lay the white one on there. Then I'll get the other buttons. I also promised you macrame. I have time. I have time. But here's the white one. It's not done. This has just been, see the difference in the heft when you go back and you do the single crochet going back, right? So that's what this would do. See how this is all kind of loose? The single crochet going back through like this really tightens it up. So look, you can just stack these button bracelets on, and they would also look great as a necklace as well. Let me, I'm not sure what we have left, but I'm going to show you. Let me do this. Yeah, you can use any button to close, right? Just make it the length that you need it to be. Use a smaller button to close on one end and a loop on the other. These were buttons that were launched when I was in France. We launched these in beadshopSTUDIO. So I didn't really give you a chance to see these up close and personal. So let me show you this real quick. I'm grabbing them here. There we go. Okay. So this is the 50 grams that you get in your grab bag. And so they look like this, right? So those are the jet or the black. We also have them in the white, and we made a ton of them. There are a lot of them, okay? So, and then there's blue. These are in bags of 10, these blue ones. That's a little bit of a bigger bag, but it's the same amount like that, right? So here's more white. Look at that one, has that pretty silver one, and look at, there's that one that I had as well. Here's the black. So there are maybe a few silver or something in there. It just depends on what came up with the scoop. Look at these, all vintage. I'll never see these again. This is it. If you love them, like get yourself 4 bags and you'll have a collection of vintage. They're so good and the price is so right. Here's the red. This is all I have left of the red daisies. Those are glass. We got them in this amethyst. This is actually a purple glass. It's hard to see that it's purple, but it is with the gold on top like this. Then we got some that have this two-tone. I have to admit, I kept 5 of these for an upcoming Chanel jacket project that I have. And these purple, these are older. They have the metal shank on the back. So we still have some of these in stock right now, I believe. But once these are gone, my friends, they're gone. Okay, there we go. So let me show you. I promised macrame. So let me show you how I might do this in macrame. Let me get these back so I can put them back over where I was filling so I don't lose them. And Renee, yes, you could definitely do that. Would it work to go through one hole and down through the other on buttons without a shank? Exactly. So what you're saying is, here it is right here. And I go through it up like this and down like this. Right? And yes, you would just bring it in and it would sit flat like that. You definitely could. For sure. Great call. Terry, I've got to get through all of the shipping and everything with beadshopSTUDIO. I've got some beadshopSTUDIO finds for you that I found in France and some in London that include buttons, and they are awesome. So awesome. But that's coming in a few weeks. I've got to catch up. But it'll all be in the newsletter. I'll give you plenty of warning. And yeah, Carrie, I would just do that during stringing. So this one would be strung in the shank like this, and then I'd go down and through. So that one would be next like that. Okay. And then you just keep going shank, shank, and then down and through. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Macrame. Let me just do a short, I'm making this up on the fly. Okay. So to macrame, I'm just going to do it with this C1. I'm going to give myself a little bit extra because I need to finish that other one off. I had scissors here once upon a time, but I don't know where they are. Yeah, thrift stores are great for buttons. I have a huge button hoard for sure. So at the end, let me just, here we go. How do I want to do this? I want to do this so this is down the center. I'm making this up as we go along, so just bear with me. And I'm going to tie, this is for macrame. I'm going to tie a button. I don't even need to tie it. I'm going to put the button right there at the end. Okay? I love it. Yeah, you ladies, you all get together and go thrift shopping. Or better yet, come out to California. Fresno actually has some pretty good thrift here. And we have really good yard sales, especially in my neighborhood. I picked up some great stuff. I try not to do it too often because you know what I need? Nothing else. I need nothing else. Okay, so here's this. Okay, so just like a regular bracelet. Okay, let me see if I can focus. That's a little bit better. So now I'm going to start here with just my macrame. I should do this in a different color. Do I have a different color of Ceylon sitting here? I don't. So you're just going to have to. Oh, here we go. Here's a different one. So you can see the difference. Here's this in like that plum. It's not that much different, but here it is. Karen, that's awesome. I did find some really cool army. I found some RAF buttons that I found over in London. They are beautiful. Those are going to be up on beadshopSTUDIO. I love military buttons. I don't know why I do, but I do. They're so decorative and beautiful. So, and there's some livery buttons that I found in London. I went to Portobello Road, though not on a weekend, so there weren't that many vendors. But I did manage to find some cool stuff. So I'm going to macrame. See that first macrame? It's a little hard for you to see, but that first macrame right there. And then, so I'm going to do like 4 or 5 macrame stitches, right? That's how I have such a big button collection, Debbie, is my gran, she would never, our clothes were, she repurposed until they went into the rag bag, but she always cut the buttons off of her, off of clothes. She also cut like lingerie findings off of lingerie, right? So I have like old bra hooks and old like, stocking hooks and stuff. She would do that. Yeah. So my mom, I had forgotten that, Ma. So while I'm setting this up, I'll tell you this story. So in Hollister, California, where my parents used to live, there was an old drugstore called Wapples. And Wapples had a little bit of everything, including fabric, right? They had fabric in the back, as I remember. Ooh, look at this. This isn't a button. Look, this is an old vintage 2-hold thing. Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to put that aside. And so I don't know, were they closing or were they just, I think they were closing the whole drugstore. And their buttons, all their buttons were for sale. So my mom, and this was, I don't know how many years ago, this was at least 25 years ago. And so my mom said, well, how much for the button for the whole rack? And so I guess they gave her a price. They had to call someone, whoever it was, and they asked how much the rack was, and they gave my mom a price. And what a surprise. She bought the whole rack. So in her sewing room, I'm going to say for 10 years, at least, you had that revolving rack, Ma, in your sewing room. I know that you still have some of those buttons on cards because it was just like one that you'd find in the store. She just bought the whole thing. I can't remember how much it was. It was probably not more than $100, really. But it was a full revolving rack. So whenever you needed buttons for a project, you would just go to my mom's house and get buttons off the rack. I had forgotten completely about that, and I can't believe I forgot about it because that was nuts. That was so funny. That was probably in the mid-90s, maybe early 90s, I'm thinking. sometime, at probably, or late 80s, who knows. But it was quite the thing. So see what I'm doing here? See how I am macrame, macrame, macrame? Now I'm going to slide up another button, and I'm sliding the buttons up on the back. See that? Look, this is probably even better than the crochet to be on. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. I like the crochet a lot because it's so freeform. This might be a little more regular, but see how I'm just overlapping the buttons and macrameing it down. And then you just keep going. Yeah, that's right. An offer of $100, and he accepted it. That's right. The floor rack. I think that when you actually moved from the Hollister house is when you got rid of it. I think, but it was a full-on floor-sized, you know, like 1970s revolving button rack, right? Yeah, you could definitely do this macrame. So see how I want them to kind of overlap a bit like that? Let me do a couple more and then we'll look at the front side. Okay. I'm sure we still have a picture of the button rack. That was before you had like your phone, so you could take pictures of everything, right? But my guess is, I bet there's a picture somewhere. My mom's sewing room became my room, and my Julie and I shared a room when we were at my parents', and so our room became the sewing room. So it was at the end of the hallway there. So yeah, there was a giant revolving button rack. In the sewing room. So funny. Okay. So yeah, that's a good question, Jeanette. There are some that just have holes. So if they had holes, what I would do maybe is I would, let's see, maybe I'd pass this thread through going one way and coming through like this and passing it through the other way. Right? So this goes like this, and then I do the same thing over here and pass it through. Does that make sense? That's probably how I do it. You might have a better way. Michelle was saying earlier you could put jump rings on the shanks of these and do this with kumahimo. Could be another way to get the buttons on something. Wouldn't that be cool? Let's put this through this way. So like this, and then let me get the ends, and you would just tighten everything up, right, from side to side, like that. See that there? How it's on there like that? And then I'd macrame. That's how I do that. Let me get past this one, put that other button on, and then let's take a look at it. Okay. Can you hear these buttons rattling around on my wrist while I'm macrameing? Because I'm still wearing this button charm bracelet. That's what I wanted to do when I got these buttons, and I got them and I sorted them and I put them into bags. I was like, I want to somehow wear these in jewelry, but I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do it. But bracelets, I think, are super cool. Okay, so there's that one. Let me slide. Let me do one more. I think it wants one more knot. Like this. Now that one goes in. Then we'll take a look at the other one. Oh, we'll put them side by side is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I was reading comments and just kind of not paying attention to anything. Okay, right? So this is just like the Bollywood bracelet, right? That's it. Wire them onto a brooch. Sure. I don't see why not. That would be cool. Let me find the end here. There we go. Oh, Sherry, I'm so glad you got the swag bag. Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Good. Well, congratulations. Makes me happy. Let's zoom out, take a look. Yeah, I was a little tardy in mailing those, a little tardier than I wanted to be, so I'm glad it arrived. Okay, so here's the one that I crocheted. Right? I did the, and if you're joining late, this is what I did first. I started with a chain stitch, chained all these buttons in, made the loop on the other side, and then came back and single crocheted in to give it a little more body. Okay, so I like this look. I like the crochet. I like kind of the organic feel of the crochet. This one, here are the buttons, and the buttons make it more of a cuff like that, right? This doesn't have as much clacking. Yes, as much noise. So see how that looks? That looks kind of like a straight line. Let me roll these other ones off my, yeah, I can wire wrap them. Remind me, the buttons for the masterclass, that would be fun to do. Let me put it actually on this wrist. I've got a scratch on my other wrist and it doesn't look so nice. So see, there's that. And then here's the other one. So see, it's two different looks. I love this movement, but I love, look at how nice that is. See the back? Right? So that's it. So you, my friends, have the tools to do this. So let me just go over what I used. I used, each of these is going to be like one of the grab bags of the vintage buttons, either in white or in black. You could mix them, right? But this is a little over 50 grams. You need that. I used, for the crochet, I used the size 4 tulip crochet hook that we carry. I'm just doing this so you can get a nice screenshot here, right? And yeah, if you have buttons that are a little more special or stunners, like Carrie is saying, you could do that with this, with the macrame. That would be good. I'm using the regular Ceylon for this. I think this is maybe the French lilac, or this might be the grape, and maybe the wine or the burgundy, maybe, right? So let me put this in. This is ready. I'm going to turn it over a little bit so you can see that side too. This is ready for a screenshot. Let me, it might be eggplant, JP. It might be eggplant, actually. That looks better. There we go. That's ready for your screenshot. Elaine, I think this would be great to use the buttons that you've been hoarding for no particular reason. I think it would be great. These will make really great holiday gifts as well. And they'd make great family gifts. Like if you have your grandmother's or mother's button hoard, right? And you have sisters or cousins or anyone, whoever might like to wear these buttons, right? This would be a great sentimental project to make out of family buttons, right? You can carry a little piece of your gran with you. I think that would be awesome. All right. Oh, that's it. All right. So I have 40 minutes to get down to my new studio spot and meet the movers. So I got a boogie, but let me tell you here before I just jumped in, I didn't do any of my due diligence with any of our socials. So do remember, my friends, you can find all of the information on the product and the project that I used today right on beadshop.com. The buttons are in beadshopSTUDIO, and they are there until they sell out. Okay. And don't forget, you can follow us on all of our socials. Join our Facebook page, hit us up on Instagram, and give us a shout out when you post any of your projects. And hit that like, subscribe, notification button right over there on our YouTube channel. And check out our Pinterest pages. We've got a lot of links to our projects, a lot of inspiration over there. And if you have any questions, just give us a shout out over at info@beadshop.com. Drea is just on the other side of the computer, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Drea usually tries to get back to you by end of day during regular work week hours, right? During the regular work week, Monday through Friday. So if you don't hear from us, check your spam folders and stuff, because it may have gone in there. Drea is really great at getting you a rapid response. If it's the weekend and we're off or whatever, might not be quite as speedy over Saturday and Sunday, but sometimes we check it as well. But from Monday through Friday, our work hours, we'll get right back to you. So do reach out. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I am just checking to see. Here's with the buttons. Hit that thumbs up. I'm so glad you love it. I'm so glad. Oh, and happy Canada Day to our Canadian friends in the North. And happy last weekend of Pride. It's the big San Francisco Pride Parade this weekend. Always a fun attendance. I haven't been to attend in a few years, but happy end of Pride Month. Happy Canada Day. Happy summer. Happy my move into a new studio. I'll get you some more info on that so you can see it. And that is my story. I'm sticking to it, my friends. I will see you. Oh, and Margaret, happy 60th birthday to you, my friend, that's coming up. I'll see you next week on another live broadcast with Drea, I believe, or it might just be me, but it's Drea's project. We're launching something brand new on Tuesday. We're the first ones to get it, so I'm super excited about it. And then Wednesday's project, we're going to use it. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So, my friends, I will see you next week. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay cool. We love you. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.